Well, the USA team departs tomorrow for Brazil. Let's take you 4,400 miles north of the equator to Jacksonville. Ian Dark, Taylor Twellman, the USA and Nigeria. It's the final send-off, guys.
Thank you very much indeed, Bob. Yes, the tension is rising. The pressure on the US players, indeed the Nigeria players, this close to the World Cup is pretty enormous, Taylor.
It's huge. You could feel that training yesterday, Ian. You and I both noticed immediately the players were tense. Jurgen Klinsmann was tense. You can feel the World Cup just over the horizon. It's only 9 days away.
Last time the USA played here, by the way, in Jacksonville, they beat Scotland 5-1. I hasten to add that Scotland played as if they were on vacation. Mark Clattenburg, who you'll know from the English Premier League, will be in charge of this game. The USA starting against Ghana in Natal in 9 days' time. And the conditions here, by the way, 82 degrees. In Natal at the moment, 90 degrees. The humidity here, 71%. In Natal, a little bit more, 77%. This is a pretty good tune-up against another West African powerhouse in Nigeria.
Yeah, obviously Nigeria is not Ghana, Ian, but they've played them. They're as close to them. But more importantly, you just mentioned it, it's the weather. It's getting acclimated for what the United States will face when they get to Brazil in a couple days.
Yep, it's sultry and steamy here in Florida. Crowd of about 45,000, we think, here in Jacksonville as we prepare for the anthems, the final send-off game for the United States. Nigeria, the proud champions of Africa, and with high hopes for the World Cup this time.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join in singing the Star-Spangled Banner.
You can feel the passion of these supporters. The USA will be the best visiting team supported in Brazil in terms of number of fans, some of whom have paid a small fortune to be going. All these players are under the microscope, some more than others, so time to take a look at tonight's performance player fueled by Gatorade with Taylor.
Ian, halftime versus Turkey, Jurgen Klinsmann stressed not having enough cover centrally for his back four. Insert tonight Kyle Beckerman, who for only the second time under Jurgen Klinsmann will start with Jermaine Jones and Michael Bradley in the midfield. The key is having enough continuity, but more importantly, plugging those holes in front of the back four tonight for Jurgen Klinsmann, because that first half versus Turkey, they had too much space early.
Here's the USA team, and congratulations to keeper Tim Howard winning his 100th cap. 3 changes from the game against Turkey. In come DeMarcus Beasley, Alejandro Bedoya, and Kyle Beckerman. Out go Chandler, Zusi, and Brad Davis.
The key here is when Dempsey pushes forward without the door, Jermaine Jones in transition covers that space in behind him.
Interesting to see what the latest tactical ploys are. There will be a presentation, by the way, to Tim Howard as Mark Clattenburg conducts the toss of the coin. Clint Dempsey will captain the USA at the World Cup. He scored in both previous World Cups that he's been to. And there's Joseph Yobo, who's been recently recalled, and skippers Nigeria here. Proud moment this for Tim Howard, who made his debut for the USA 12 years ago. He's won more games than any other US keeper in history. Now 54 of his previous 99. He's been a fantastic keeper.
He's been huge, but he arguably his best career year club season with 15 clean sheets for Everton as well. In good form going into the World Cup. The United States will need Tim Howard at his best if they want to get out of this group.
Jurgen Klinsmann has always called him one of the world's top 5 goalkeepers, a statement he reiterated here yesterday. Only the 15th player overall to reach this milestone. And all his teammates and every fan applauding. He's that much of a respected figure. Great moment, and let's hope he has a great game as well. And of course you wish every player, no matter what nation, to have a wonderful World Cup.
What an accomplishment, Ian. 100 times have your name called and playing for your country.
Nigeria might keep him busy. They've got high hopes in this World Cup. 1 or 2 injury concerns, though. Echia is a major worry at the moment. The speedy Moose has got a knock. He should be okay for the World Cup. Omar Rayo is out as well. Amaniki's being held back for the second half, the main striker. John Obi Mikel, very much the orchestrator. And Peter Odemwingie, the Stoke City man, is back in favour these days.
Good test for the United States tonight. The front 3 will interchange. They're physical. And in 1v1 situations, they can break you down.
During tonight's match, ESPN3 has 2 alternate ways to watch. Tactical Cam gives you a bird's eye view of the screen, or see what the fans are doing on the American Outlaws Cam. It's all available on ESPN3, the whole game. The US have won both warm-up games so far against Azerbaijan and Turkey, but truth to tell, they looked a little too expansive, a little too adventurous against Turkey, who created a host of chances and only scored from 1 from the penalty spot right at the end. Looking to be more compact today.
No doubt about it. That's why you're seeing for only the second time under Jurgen Klinsmann, Jermaine Jones, Michael Bradley, and Kyle Beckerman in the starting lineup.
Yeah, I think that's why Kyle Beckerman is there, to just make sure that they mine the back door a little bit better. But straight away, Bedoya making some progress here. Nigeria played a reserve team at Fulham Football Ground in London and drew 2-2 with Scotland. They needed a last-minute equaliser in one of their warm-up games and a goalless game against Greece. Here is Odemwingie, had a very good end to the season at Stoke City. Despite his past falling out with the coach, Stephen Keshi, there seems to be something going on with him one way or another. But he did deliver the African Championship for the Nigerians. They have been a bit disappointing, though, at the last 2 World Cups. No wins and bottom of the group both times. They're confident they'll do better than that this time. They need to. They've got Argentina, among others, again in their group. Aziz played that ball out wide, just broken through into the Nigeria side in recent months. The player who plays for Almeria in Spain. Good little player. They have high hopes of him. Here's Jermaine Jones for the USA. Great looking through ball towards Bedoya. Wonderful idea, just a little too much juice on it. Well, there are the rest of the players, and they can all be used as well. I wonder whether there'll be another chance for Julian Green, who's just turned 19 yesterday, to state his case. Chris Wondolowski as well would be an option up front if Josie Altidor's goal drought continues. They are all hopefuls, and they are all going to be on that plane leaving for Brazil tomorrow. I think one thing we hope above everything else is nobody gets injured on either side.
It's amazing. Look at the amount of injuries going into this World Cup over the last 24 to 36 hours, Ian. Some big-name players, and you don't want to bring it up if you're Jurgen Klinsmann or his staff. But when you're on Twitter, you're on social media, and you're seeing the news around the world, it has to creep in the back of your mind as a player.
John Obi Mikel feeding it wide for Oshaniwa, who's in at left back because Elderson Echejile has got a muscle injury at the moment that's likely to take at least 2 weeks to heal, I'm told. Well, some defending here against Shola Amiobi. Odem Wingi. And that's Ambrose, the Celtic player, with the cross that was a pretty easy first touch for Tim Howard. Fabian Johnson's ball inside. Johnson's raiding from right back was a feature against Turkey. He scored a great goal, but now he's got to get back and do a bit of covering as Moses runs at the American defense. Speedy and powerful at his best. Moses had a great tournament in the Africa Cup of Nations, not so great on loan at Liverpool this last season. Do you think this starting lineup might be something like we see against Ghana, Taylor?
Well, you look at the history. Look at Jurgen Klinsmann in 2006. He started in the last tune-up game before the opener of the World Cup. 10 of those 11 players were the starter. The one was Michael Ballack, dealing with an injury. And then in 2010, Bob Bradley started 9 of the 11. So as much as Jurgen Klinsmann wants to tell all of us that this lineup isn't the one against Ghana, you would have to think that 8 or 9 of these players, if not this exact starting lineup, will be there against Ghana on 16th.
He's the only man who knows, and he's playing his cards very close to his chest at the moment. Not quite as open as usual. I think that's true of a lot of the World Cup coaches at the moment. They do not want to give a thing away that the opposition may be able to benefit from. Understandable.
Yeah, but it's not fun for the commentators.
Yeah, we have to wait till late to find out, but I think the players have to wait till pretty late as well. Here's Efe Ambrose, voted in the team of the tournament at the African Cup of Nations he was. One thing to watch with Nigeria is the way that John Obi Mikel is given a license to play far further forward than you might be used to seeing with Chelsea. He scored a great goal against Uruguay in the Confederations Cup last year in Brazil, when Nigeria were a bit disappointing in truth. Of course, we're at that state where nobody wants to get injured, but everyone is playing for their places. I think some know that they're lock-ins. A few others might think they've still got a bit of persuading to do. Beasler. There's Josie Altidor. Did go out of play. The US have never won all 3 World Cup warm-up games ever before. They could do that with a win here. It'll take some earning, though. Nigeria start their campaign at the World Cup 2 days after the USA, in fact 5 days in, which is why they're staying in Florida for a bit longer. Odem Wingi hugging the touchline on the right-hand side. Here's Mikel. Amiobi to feed it wide. Oshaniwa, here's Mikel again in that forward position. Oh, it's beautifully worked down that side. Moses was looking to break, and it was clever from the Nigerians.
And you knew coming into tonight's game that this would be a much better test, particularly for Matt Besler and Jeff Cameron. You have to have an understanding between you two. And here Jeff Cameron gets a little caught flat-footed. And that way, Matt Besler immediately, you're 12 yards in front of Tim Howard. You have to put pressure on that ball immediately.
This wouldn't be a long way off Nigeria's possible starting lineup, though Musa and Echiajili and the striker Emenike would come in, providing all are fit. Besler. Dempsey's little layoff doesn't quite work out. Here's DeMarcus Beasley. Bradley to take over and continuing his forward run. Bedoya took a deflection on the way through and will be a corner.
The good thing about the United States is then immediately in transition when that ball is won, getting forward. And Bedoya is in a good spot here because immediately when Michael Bradley reads possession, where's Bedoya? In a good spot to get forward and put pressure on the back four in Nigeria. That good defensive shape being, early on with Beckerman and Jones just sitting in front of that back four allows Bradley, Bedoya, and Dempsey to put some pressure on the Nigerian midfield.
That's certainly what they're looking for. They'd love a clean sheet out of this game. Here's the corner kick. Besler went up for it. He didn't get it. Here comes Carl Beckerman now. That wasn't his best touch. He has been tinkering with the midfield shape, Jurgen Klinsmann. We've seen the diamond a couple of times. But I think the main thing they've got to be is adaptable, flexible with it, depending on who's got the ball. Which team, I mean.
Well, he said it yesterday in the press conference, didn't he? Formations don't matter.
Mikel with the layoff to Onazi. Very much a fixture in that midfield. Mikel to switch it wide again to Oshaniwa. Keeping the ball very well here, Nigeria, albeit in deep position at the moment. Ghana will do that as well. That's one thing the USA know, that they will be spending quite long periods without the ball in games, and they have to have their shape right for that. Yeah, against some pretty talented operators. Corner kick for Nigeria on that side. Forward run was from the 21-year-old Ramon Aziz. Victor Moses with the corner for Nigeria. It was a long way and was flicked towards goal by Ambrose. Beasley inside to Dempsey. If Beasley plays at the World Cup, he'll be the first American to actually get onto the field in 4 World Cups. A distinction he will share with, among others, Pele and Diego Maradona. That's not bad, is it? No room for sentiment in his mind, though. Did take Germany to the semi-finals as host nation in 2006. How difficult is it to play, Taylor, in this fairly extreme heat and humidity?
Well, they've been here for a week. Your first couple of days is the most difficult, especially when you're coming from a training camp in Northern California, Ian, and then moving to New Jersey, where it actually wasn't that hot. But now at game time, they've had 4 or 5 days in training. You're used to it. It's not much of a problem.
Not too big a jump from this to Brazil, and that was in the planning, of course, all along. Not the only team to have come down to Florida. England in Miami currently at the moment, getting ready. They're in action against Honduras today. World Cup friendlies going on everywhere.
You know, we're 12 minutes into this game. The defensive shape has been very interesting to me because Clint Dempsey and Josie Altidore have switched. At times, Dempsey's been high. At times, Josie Altidore's been wide left. The key is, where's Kyle Beckerman and where's Jermaine Jones? Sitting in front of that back four.
Yes, it's a bit less expansive, maybe a little.
Agreed, Ian.
Not as exciting to watch, but I think it probably is a necessary tweak. Moses was stopped on his way through. Bradley can't keep possession. F.A. Ambrose. It's a good idea. He nearly found a way through there. Don't usually see the right back trying nutmegs.
No, and as much as we're talking about Kyle Beckerman being in the starting lineup, Beasley returning to the starting lineup. In the interview from Jurgen Klinsmann with Jeremy Schaff, what he said, he's the starting left back, and mainly because of the understanding on the left shoulder of Matt Besler. We saw in the first half against Turkey and miscommunication at times between Besler and Chandler. Tonight, already 12, 13 minutes into this game, Besler knows from continuity, from playing together and qualifying, where Beasley is at all times.
He did look in the first half the other day as if they'd only just met, and that's ball given away by Fabian Johnson, and it could have been a big problem as well with Aziz, who has the license to get furthest forward of that midfield three, making the driving run. There will be players who come from nowhere to make stars of themselves in the next month. There's no question of that. Happens every time at the World Cup. Well, one in the air by Besler. Not easy to win it above the towering Shola Amiobi, who's just been released from Newcastle United. He's looking for a club, and it might be Sydney as a replacement for Alessandro Del Piero. Onazi missed out. Bradley, can they counter quickly here? The US. Good play from Bradley to Altidore. Bedoya thinks about another shot, and there's too much weight on that pass. Very wasteful, really. Dempsey could do nothing with that.
It's one thing to talk about Michael Bradley defensively and always being in a good spot to apply pressure, but the one thing he brings to a team is when possession is won immediately. He doesn't give this away. Now he's an option to relieve pressure. You've sat in defensive posture for 3-4 minutes, allowing Nigeria to build the attack, but when Michael Bradley won the ball, he keeps possession going forward.
On his way to a second World Cup. Of course, his dad was the coach 4 years ago when the United States reached the round of 16 before losing to the side who have proved to be their nemesis in the last two World Cups, Ghana. Who will definitely have spies at this game, no question about that. Here's Moses. Mikel could be on his way out of Chelsea to Inter, we're hearing. Besler got something on it. It wasn't quite what he intended, but it was enough. What a rise for him. Not really on the US scene at all, up to about 17 months ago. Now looks like the starting centre-back, or one of them. Corner kick. Came off the considerable amount of hair of Beckerman, I fancy. Will be another corner.
And I mentioned it last time against Turkey, but this is a new wrinkle to defending set pieces. Tim Howard talked about it in New York at the training before Turkey, but he wants 3 or 4 guys at the edge of that 6 zone marking, and then everyone else is man marking. He wants his 2 best players in the air in this starting lineup, in Clint Dempsey and Jeff Cameron free.
The corner's a good one. It goes a long way, and Howard has to travel across his line. Now the flag is up.
Look at that right there. Beckerman, Jones, Dempsey on the 6-yard box, but that's where Tim Howard's so good. He's quick feet, staying active, being alive.
And he was being impeded a bit, which is why the flag went up. It was Amiobi's header. Just get the feeling with Nigeria, they're going to be very tough to beat at this World Cup. They start off really with the chopping blocks. No disrespect intended. Iran in the group, that's a must-win game, really, because then they have to play Bosnia and Herzegovina, who've been in good form going into this World Cup. And then after that, Argentina. So they'll want to have the job done, I think, before they meet the powerhouse team of Argentina with Lionel Messi and co.
On the other night in Chicago, Bosnia was very good against Mexico.
Yeah. They're very well organized, and they've got an almost manic spirit about them. Ashani were to feed it wide. Odemwingi's gone up to the other side now. Oh, and that took a little deflection, but not one that was fatal for the US. Odemwingi, of course, is the player who decided he'd transfer himself to Queen's Park Rangers from West Bromwich Albion, giving an interview through a car window at the time to reporters. He went inside and he was told there is no such deal. And
that's one way of doing it.
It was a farcical situation. Of course, it was the end for him at West Bromwich Albion, but he is rebuilding his career pretty effectively at Stoke now. He says he's matured. That'll be it.
Or humbled.
Certainly was that. Bradley for USA. The World Cup begins on Thursday on ESPN with the opening match. 3 Eastern is the time. Don't do anything else. It's Brazil, the host nation, against Croatia. It's going to be a real happening. 3:30 kickoff time Eastern, and you can watch the entire tournament live on the Watch ESPN app.
You ready?
Oh, yeah. Sort of. We leave tomorrow, same day as the team. Not on the same plane, I hasten to add. We're not afforded that privilege very often.
I'm not sitting next to you on the plane, am I?
Probably. You can swap Croatia notes with me.
Perfect.
We know how to enjoy ourselves. Obwabona is a key man at the back, the player in possession now for Nigeria, ever present, and played every minute in World Cup qualifying. Good player, and liked so much that he was given a bungalow by the politicians in his home state. So you don't get that from US soccer, do you? Here's Odemwingi looking to make some progress. He's a live, athletic player with a real eye for goal, Peter Odemwingi.
And Nigeria has caused some problems for Fabian Johnson, mainly because Odemwingi is pushed as high as he can, playing 1v1 against Johnson wide.
The US are struggling to see much of the ball, but they can break now. And here's Bradley. They have to get it right in the build-up. Altidor's pulled out wide right. Dempsey's waiting in the middle, and it all breaks down. Rather disappointingly. They're struggling to hold on to the ball. Yeah,
but that can't happen when you're Josie Altidore, because the 10 guys behind you have defended very well, had good posture. When you get possession of the ball, you can't give it away that cheaply.
Dempsey, nice ball that one. DeMarcus Beasley! And it was good defending by Obwabona. That's why he's the top man, the governor in that defence, in the right place. This might be pretty similar, I think, to the way the Ghana game goes. They might not have too much of the ball. They'll have to defend and then counter swiftly and accurately. Moses has come out to the right-hand side now. Odemwingi on the left. Now in the centre. Good dribbling skills as well. He's got a shot on him. That one was always sailing very wide. And this is where we are in Jacksonville, very close to the St. John's River. They're very proud of the local alligators, I've noticed, around here. Even the cabs are Gator City taxis, I noticed, on our way here. That aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything we've learned making tyres for confident handling inspires what we roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. I'm just thinking, Taylor, about the sense of excitement of these players. I've spoken to a few of their families who've been around the team's hotel as well. They're all traveling down to Brazil. This great sense of expectation. Most of them are about to play the biggest 3 games of their whole life.
Yeah, but this is everything you dream about. This is everything when you're 4, 5, 6, 7 years old in the backyard, kicking the ball about, whether it's with your brothers, your sisters, your families. You dream about playing in the World Cup. Now it hits you right in the face. And what I noticed yesterday in training, Ian, was that it's a little tense. You saw a couple arguments among the players. That's a good thing, because you can feel the World Cup. It's coming right around the corner in 9 days. And I think people are starting to press a little bit, which in my opinion is very good for the United States.
Foul by Onazi on Clint Dempsey. I think while the game will be played full out and nobody's going to hold back particularly, there is a kind of tacit understanding between the teams at this stage that nothing too reckless should happen. Mind you, having said that, England's Raheem Sterling got himself sent off for a horrible challenge the other day.
And Luis Montes for Mexico.
Yeah, some bad things have been happening. Beckerman. Edoya. Junior Jones taps it on. Dempsey to Bradley, who's always somewhere up there on the side. Invited to shoot, does shoot, and then Yema tips it to one side with a little difficulty. The bounce wasn't easy for the keeper.
And as usual, everything going forward centrally for the United States is coming off of Michael Bradley. Good combination play with Clint Dempsey. But this is what Michael Bradley does. And I think with Beckerman and Jones in the lineup, that allows Michael Bradley to say, you know what, I can take more risk going forward.
The second corner in the match for the USA. And Yema looks to punch it. Beckerman. Now Alejandro Bedoya. Curling one towards the top corner. Great effort. Good idea.
Good pressure from the United States, particularly dealing with second balls coming off at defending set pieces from Nigeria. Bedoya in a good spot.
Bedoya, whose father and grandfather were professional players in Colombia.
Well, we're looking at 2 players in the starting lineup for the United States that used the 2013 Gold Cup to make this roster. Kyle Beckerman and Alejandro Bedoya.
Bedoya's head on. Here's Onazi. Now Peter Odemwingie. Ambrose under a little of the pressure here from DeMarcus Beasley, who's converted himself very successfully to a left back position. And what he at first lacked in knowledge of the position, he made up for in recovery speed, and he still has that. Still as slim as a pencil, Beasley. Ambrose turning on the tricks. Too many, but he stays down as well, trying to get a free kick. I don't think he was ever going to get it. He's still on the floor, F.A. Ambrose. And of course, Mark Clattenburg will allow time for him to be treated. I'm told he's so keen on football, F.A. Ambrose, that when he goes on holiday or on vacation, he gets up at 6 o'clock in the morning and has a game with his mates on the beach. See, that's keen, isn't it? And here's Beasler. Well, he wanted a more compact-looking side. I think he's getting that, Jurgen Klinsmann here. Bradley, very much the spark plug. Usually it was his wonderful pass that set up that goal for Fabian Johnson the other day. That wasn't one for the show reel.
But it's interesting right now watching Jermaine Jones and Kyle Beckerman play together. Jermaine Jones has been literally just stuck on the left side, almost as if he's playing the left side to cover behind Clint Dempsey. At times, you still see a 4-4-2 for the United States. Beckerman in front of the two center backs, Jones left and Bedoya right.
Andreas Herzog there on the right. Chris Woods in the discussion, the goalkeeping coach, former England goalkeeper. Jermaine Jones's shot. So these are some of the players who will be missing from the World Cup through injury. Falcao, Montes, Montalivo, Marco Reus, Germany, latest one, along with Frank Ribery, the back injury, Saborio of Costa Rica, Roman Shirokov, the Russian captain, among many.
It's an all-star team.
Yeah, it's so sad for those players, really, because there's absolutely nothing you can do about it when the injury's this late. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain of England's another one who's certainly going to miss the first couple of games at the very least.
Well, and two players not on that list, but all eyes around the world are on, Luis Suarez and Ronaldo.
Yeah, two of the big marquee names, really, of the tournament. Suarez is running again, I'm told. Now Dempsey trying to get in behind here. Dempsey looking to get to the byline. That was good recovery from Ashaniwa. Here's the USA corner. Chance of USA ringing around the arena in Jacksonville. Wouldn't quite sit down for Dempsey. Made something out of nothing in the end. Dempsey has scored in each of the last 10 years for the United States. A feat only previously achieved by Brian McBride and Eric Winalda. Ambrose is okay again. Jono Mimikal feeds it wide for Oshaniwa. Mimikal very much the heartbeat of the side, despite his bit part role most of the time at Chelsea. Didn't go to the last World Cup, he was injured. Aziz lays it back, and then Nazi's effort is wild. On Tuesday, ESPN's exclusive coverage of US soccer continues. First at 8:30, it's the multi-part documentary series Inside US Soccer's March to Brazil, presented by El Jimador. Then at 9:30, there's No Tomorrow, a feature on the Brazil's teams hope to win a World Cup trophy at home. It all starts Tuesday, 8:30 ESPN. Both shows also live on your Watch ESPN app. Looks like it's going to be Beasler and Cameron as the central defenders, doesn't it, for the World Cup? Omar Gonzalez just carrying a bit of a knock, we think, at the moment, don't we?
We think, but I think that's one of the subs in the second half we have to see. Jurgen Klinsmann has to make that decision. In training, yes, Omar's training full, but what we saw in the 45 minutes against Azerbaijan, he doesn't look 100% confident. He has to play tonight.
He's only had that 45 minutes in the warm-up games so far. Omar Gonzalez, who did look, up to about a month ago, as if he would be the starting central defender. Jones did well. Bedoya. Nicely done. Across the face of goal, and Altior breaks his scoring drought. It's his first goal of 2014. in, and the relief is palpable. Exactly what Josie Altidore was looking for going into the World Cup. He hadn't scored for 28 games for club and country.
And that piano that has been sitting on Josie Altidore's back since December 4th has left the building. It's the same combination we saw in Seattle when the United States played Panama in a World Cup qualifier. This goal is ginormous for Josie Altidore and the United States, and that man right there, Jurgen Klinsmann.
Set up by Fabian Johnson, who seems to be in prime form going into the World Cup from that right back position. He scored a glorious goal in the last match against Turkey, setting up that one. Now that's exactly what he wanted, Altidore, for his confidence after his, well, horrible season, really, at Sunderland. That's how you want them, really, after that. A tap in from what? About 4 feet. Bradley. It's a great counter from the United States. And it caught the Nigerians out, the speed of it. Nobody picked up Fabian Johnson's run.
This is so good. We saw it last week against Turkey. Fabian Johnson's understanding of when to go forward is phenomenal. Look at him continuing to make that run. He was the 4th option at the beginning of that play. If he does not make that run, then Josie Altidore doesn't have the simple finish. That is one happy man right there.
Amiobi wants a free kick, gets a free kick. Well, it's an upbeat mood for the United States team. His last goal on December the 4th was against Chelsea for Sunderland. Remember, he wasn't even on the bench when Sunderland reached Wembley and the League Cup final. A horrible day for him. He's had to live with that and the crisis of confidence.
It's over.
And often after the drought, the flood, as we always say. So let's see what happens when they play that other team from West Africa in 9 days' time. Aziz. And actually, it's a good shout by Tim Howard.
Well, it's very interesting you bring up about Josie Altidore and the streak is now over. Look at what he did last summer. Remember us hanging out last summer? We're talking about Josie. He hadn't scored from the run of play under Jurgen Klinsmann. That goal against Germany got him flying. He ended up 2013 with 8 goals for the United States.
Yeah, he scored 5 running, the only player in US history to do that. Just the way it goes sometimes for strikers. Moses for Nigeria. Looked neat in midfield, but not really carrying that much threat. And I think we're going to see Emmanuel Emenike, their main striker, come on for the second half. That's for certain. Bit of confidence about Dempsey just at the moment, the way he did that. And a knock there for Jermaine Jones, who stays down, and everything like that will come with a dose of worry for Jurgen Klinsmann and the US supporters.
Listen, when you haven't scored a goal since December, you score the goal. Now everything is just a little bit easier. The first 3 or 4 touches tonight from Josie Altidore weren't clean. Now his first touch immediately after goal, great layoff to Clint Dempsey.
It was his 22nd goal for the USA. Josie Altidore on his 70th appearance for his country. Still only 24, by the way. No way through for Odem Wingy. The United States defending well. I would think Jurgen Klinsmann will be happy with this. It looks like Jermaine Jones is okay. He's a pretty tough character. Make that very tough. A little bit extravagant from Dempsey. Possession was lost. But Tim Howard on his 100th cap for the USA has had very little to do, in all honesty. So far, he's been well protected. Oshaniwa. Nazi's crossfield ball, and Ambrose can't keep it in play this time. Lily Jones is okay again. He missed the last World Cup because of a shin injury, so wasn't even considered for that. Oh, Beckerman nearly turned into trouble there. Play on, says the referee. Again, USA, look at the change of tempo once they do get the ball and break forward. That's exactly as it should be. Here he is again. Fabian Johnson, absolutely full of it at the moment. Bradley, Altidore. Still retain possession somehow. Now, can Nigeria break quickly themselves?
Ian, you bring up a great point, though. The United States tonight, immediately when that ball is won, they're getting forward. Why is that? Because Fabian Johnson and DeMarcus Beasley are an option going forward now. The other night against Turkey, Timmy Chandler's not a left back. He's not naturally left-footed, so his natural reaction isn't to go forward. Now Beasley can stretch him wide left. Fabian Johnson can stretch him wide right, and it's a good option for the United States going forward.
So far, so good here. Just a feeling that maybe that Nigeria do have some higher gears to engage. Let's see if they manage to do it. So far their build-up play has been on the laboured side. And now possession's given away. Mikel's having an inquest with the other players instead of getting back. And that won't please Stephen Keshi, the coach.
Ian, at some point tonight, you're going to ask me my opinion, my 2 cents on how the United States should play 9 days from now against Ghana. Just replay the first 39 minutes tonight, please.
And that was the aim of the exercise, I think, today, too. Always with the rider. This is a friendly with 9 days to go. And on the 16th in Natal, it will be with much, much more edge. And very much the real thing. Whole tournament, don't forget, live with us on ESPN.
Keep an eye on Dempsey, back post with his high line from Nigeria.
Bradley looking to drift it into that space behind. And DeMarcus Beasley. He wanted one.
Just the United States have been on the forefront of everything. Second balls, particularly coming off of set pieces. We saw Bedoya 5-6 minutes ago, and now here DeMarcus Beasley. Key for the United States to limit Nigeria in transition.
I was just thinking about Beasley. It's amazing. He was playing for the USA that day they beat Portugal in 2002. There's not much more than a kid.
That's why they call him Old Man River, Ian.
He probably doesn't mind it now either. That was interesting and a bit worrying for Nigeria, the way Mikel just stopped playing when possession was lost a while back and started moaning at his teammates. Discipline has been a bit of a problem in the past for the Nigerians. Talking to some of the reporters who cover them on a regular basis, they were saying exactly that, and sometimes a bit of tactical discipline as well, which is maybe why they haven't quite fulfilled all the potential you'd think they might. Moses. Onazi invited to shoot and does. No problem for Tim Howard. By the way, the average age of the Nigerian squad is 25. They'll be the second youngest team in Brazil at the World Cup, behind Ghana. Dempsey found a little pocket of space there. Just has a little word there with Michael Bradley, or I fancy he just wanted up around him a little closer at that moment. This is all just part of the fine-tuning of this system. Here is Mikel. Oshiniwa. Victor Moses.
Look at how much more difficult it is tonight, Ian. That's the biggest difference I can see is, yes, you beat the first defender from the United States, but then there's a second, there's a third, even a fourth guy coming to cover for his teammates. Much more difficult tonight to break the United States down.
Yeah, it's a much more streetwise display, isn't it? And that game against Turkey, if we're honest, could have ended 5-5 easily.
Well, I don't think there's any question about it, Ian.
I think Jurgen Klinsmann acknowledged as much, didn't he, in the interview he was doing with Jeremy Schaap before the game. We must be more compact here. We want to draw energy from the big home fans here, the crowd. Take it to Brazil with them. They know the expectations. Bradley was just played into a bit of trouble, and now there's a break on. Aziz was there, Odin Wingy had got forward, it goes behind. Look at Jermaine Jones tracking back there to help his defence. He got the vital foot in. Really good teamwork, good team play that by Jones.
Yeah, silly giveaway from Kyle Beckerman, but great understanding from Jermaine Jones to recover.
Moses, danger here. They just changed the tempo there, the Nigerians. And by the way, we're just getting news through, and it's broken in the last few minutes, that Elderson Echejile, the first choice left back for Nigeria, I told you that muscle injury was bad. He is out of the World Cup. Wow. Just hearing. So condolences and sympathies to him, and indeed to the Nigerian camp. Ambrose's header! Well, he found space there, a bit too much from an American point of view.
My only concern is when you're zonal marking is that it leaves responsibility to the man next to you. And when you're man marking, it's simple. It's your responsibility. That's a big chance for Nigeria on a set piece.
Got away with that one. Amiobi's up there on his own. Oshaniwa. John Obi Mikel. And then Onazi. Just stepping it up a bit here, Nigerian, finding a bit of extra threat. Beasley with the defending. They're just starting to show a few teeth here, though, Nigeria.
And you're talking about zonal marking here. Dempsey's free near post, but now that's too free if you're Jurgen Klinsmann, Jeff Cameron, and Tim Howard. Tim Howard doing a good job of covering that up. But again, when you're zonal marking, you're looking at the man next to you.
Got away with one there. This time Jones with the header. That'll be another Nigerian corner. Almost half time. This is where the United States just have to dig in a little. Moses curls another one in. It's well defended, and Altidore completes the job. Mark Clattenburg, the referee, takes a look at his watch. Just a little change in the mood with half-time approaching. A sign maybe that Nigeria will crank it up in the second half and start to ask a few more serious questions. It will be interesting. Moses. DeMarcus Beasley got a foot in. Moses again. Got quick feet, but not that quick. Look at the pressing. How many white shirts were around him? They've nicked the ball away. Here's the counter. How well can they do it? Altidore, decent ball that for Clint Dempsey. The only man he could have found, and a shot at the end of it. They broke there to some effect. Now the battle lines, I think, are drawn here. The United States are ahead getting men behind the ball, looking to counter quickly and effectively, and leading by a goal to nil at half-time. Josie Altidore breaking a long scoring drought. His first goal since December. Well worked and probably deserved on the play as well. Probably exactly what the United States were looking for. USA 1, Nigeria 0 at half-time as we hand it back to Bob Lee and the team in Rio.
Thank you so much, Ian. 45 textbook minutes for the United States. And the 1-0 lead over Nigeria at the half. From our World Cup headquarters studios along Copacabana Beach, along with Alexi Lalas, Casey Keller, Efan Okoku, former Nigerian international. USA on the front foot here, and the defense tested just once, but rock solid.
I thought in general this is a U.S. team that is shaped and designed to beautifully frustrate an opponent, either a specific opponent or in a specific time during the game.
We'll talk more about your headline from these 45 minutes.
Well, I mean, so obviously Josie Altidore getting the goal. I mean, it's been a long time coming. We talked about it in the pregame that just maybe it was just a tap in, and that's exactly what he got. Good overlap from Fabian Johnson, good little connection. And then what does a striker do? He gets himself in a good position to tap in the easy ones.
Same old story for me for Nigeria. Caught sleeping defensively when they dominated for me the opening 20 to 25 minutes. I'm actually pleased for Altidore. I know what it's like to go through a long spell when you're not scored a goal. So, and sometimes, well, in fact, very often that's the type of goal you need just to get you started. But as I said, Nigeria defensively, concerns for me, not only this game, but going forward to the first match.
The late word, Echejile will be out of the World Cup. That will resonate going forward, certainly. The Altidore scoring drought for 27 matches for club and country at an end. First time he put it in the net since December. We'll be back.